السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله الله.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة.
What are you doing?
حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر.
شكرا.
لا إله إلا الله.
أن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسولنا صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. It is not lost on me that today is the first Jumu'ah of this year's Ramadan. We don't know if we'll find another one, if we see another one. There's so many things that we can talk about and encouraging you about fasting and its importance in the deen. And we will do that, inshallah. But unless you've been a person who has been absolutely 110% oblivious to what's been going on in the city, or you're an individual who is outside of Central Florida, you don't live in Kissimmee, Orlando, or maybe an individual is just living under and beneath a rock. Most of us are aware of what has happened recently, the beginning of Ramadan, the second night of Ramadan, the accident which took place, in which some of our Muslim shabab, particularly those brothers who are from Morocco, rahmatullah alayhim, they were in a horrific, tragic accident, a car accident. So there were 6 people that died. 6 people. And that is a sign for everybody who's here. Everybody who has eyes to see, he has intellect. Some of us knew those people personally. Some of them were in our homes a week prior to the accident. As I stand here and I look at you people, I expect to see you tonight. I hope to see you next week, inshallah, but none of that is promised. My children, I hope to see my kids again. You hope to see yours. One of those children, there was a picture of him the night of the accident. Before he left the house, they took the picture of him and his dad, Mu'adh and Abu Mu'adh. May Allah give those boys rahmah and make it easy for the parents. One of the children, Sami, rahmatullah alayhi, was a single child. No other brothers, no other sisters. There is a hadith that is weak, but it's true. It says, Al-walid thamratul qalb. The child, your child is the harvest of your heart, the apple of your eye, especially for the mother. especially for them. So only Allah knows what those parents are going through, and we saw and witnessed some of that. And their death is a sign. The Prophet mentioned, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, min اقتراب الساعة إن يرى الهلال حتى يقال لليلتين وأن تتخذ المساجد طرقا وأن يظهر الموت الفجاءة. From the signs that Yawm al-Qiyamah is close, Yawm al-Qiyamah is close, are these three things, and they're all happening. The first one is when you look at the hilal, the crescent, not the badr, the full moon, the hilal. You will see the hilal qubala. It will be big. When it appears, it'll be big, to the point that the people say that's the hilal of 2 days. One of the meanings of this hadith is the hilal will actually appear to be bigger than what the people are used to when they see it with the naked eye. Another meaning of it is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was telling of something over 1400 years ago that's taking place right now. And that when these people use telescopes and other than that to look at the hilal, they see the hilal bigger than its reality. That's a possible meaning. That's a possible meaning. It may not mean the naked eye, and it may. But those people use those instruments to see the new hilal. When they finally see it, is bigger than what it would normally appear. That's the first thing. The second sign that Yawm al-Qiyamah is close is that people will use the masjids just as a thoroughway, just as a walkway. He wants to cut through the masjid. So the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is massive. There are masjids in Egypt that are big, in Morocco that are very big. So in order to get from that corner of that street to that corner of that street, instead of walking all the way around, let's just go through the masjid and cut through the masjid. That's a sign of Yawm al-Qiyamah. Now, if you want to do that and it's not time for prayer, no problem. It's not wajib and it's not haram. It's not wajib for you to pray. It's not haram for you not to pray. But this hadith is talking about the masjid being utilized for other than salah and dhikr, for other than the remembrance of Allah. It's being utilized for the dunya, like in the month of Ramadan. The person comes to break fast in the masjid, and he breaks his fast and he doesn't pray. He eats and he gets in the wind and he leaves. He just came for the food. Or the zawaj, the munasabah of the zawaj is in the masjid. So a person was invited. So the girl comes to the masjid, caked out with makeup. She comes to the masjid with all her expensive attire. They have 3, 4, 5 cars that are extremely expensive. So they come into the masjid. No one prays 2 rakats to greet the masjid. And many of the people who attend, they don't pray. That's one of the signs of Yawm al-Qiyamah, that people come to the masjid and they don't pray. And that's what it was built for. And the third one is this point about our 2 brothers, Mu'adh and Sami, rahmatullahi alayhima. One of the signs that Yawm al-Qiyamah is close is that people will suddenly die. Not the old man who's sick with some cancer or some other sickness. Not like that. People are expecting him to die soon. Even he himself knows that he's sick. They can't find out what's wrong with him, but he knows that the ailment that he's dealing with is serious. Not that one. It's talking about the one who you expect to see him tomorrow. He's here today, and just like that, he's off the scene. And that's why Abdullah ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, when the Prophet told the people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, be in the dunya as if you were a stranger or a person who's just crossing the street. Don't be in this dunya like you won't live here forever. Abdullah ibn Umar said to the people, if you wake up in the morning, don't act like you're going to see the nighttime. If you meet the nighttime, don't act like you're going to wake up in the morning. My man Farzan, and other than Farzan, you're a newly married brother. Life is not promised to you. Cherish your wife. It's easy for us to be upset and to carry on being upset with our wives, with our husbands, with our mothers, with our fathers, with each other. Get that stuff out of your chest as it relates to the people who are close to you. Those brothers fasted, inshallah, on Sunday. They broke the fast, they prayed Tarawih, and then they didn't wake up for Fajr. Not only did they not wake up for Fajr, they didn't see 12 o'clock. They didn't see 12 o'clock. Here today, gone tomorrow. So the Nabi of Islam, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, taught us a religion. We have to look at these signs. سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْأَلْفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ. We're going to show the people, Allah said, I'm going to show them my signs in the horizons. In the horizons. The sun that comes and then it sets. It's over there. When you come in here for Fajr, it's beautiful how it looks and it's still dark over there. The horizon in it is a sign. Just as that sign comes up and it goes down, you come up and you're going to go down. All of us. The man who is 60 years old, 60 years old, he has seen 755 hilals. 755 hilals have passed my life since March 10th, 1964. 12 hilals every single month for 60 years, 755. If you're older than 60, you're younger than 60, you do your math. Those brothers, how many did they see? 200 and something, 19 years old. He's just a baby. But in all of those hilals that have passed in 755, all of those 755, they are a sign. We're all born and we're weak. We need our mothers. We grow up, we get strong, and then we become old again. My beloved brother Abu Adam last week stood up to give me salams and give me a hug, but he's an older brother now, almost fell over. This one, he has arthritis. If I sit on the floor, my hips hurt. I am not that same person when the first and second and third and the first 100 hilals passed in my life. 755. It is an ayah. So that it become clear to everybody, Allah is Allah. He is Al-Haq. So we got to look at these things and take them as a sign. As you sit there, you're not promised that you're going to see your children again. You're not promised that. So we have to get with the program. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do that. In the 10th year, before he made the hijrah, he was in Mecca for 13 years, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 10 years after being in Mecca, it was a difficult year for him. It was called the year of sorrow. And that's because his uncle Abu Talib died. And his beloved wife, our mother, Khadija, the al-Mu'mineen, may Allah be pleased with her. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. Those of us who are married, none of us knows what it's like to have a wife like Khadija. Listen to what I'm telling you. There's no woman here, no woman that we know of has or had a husband like the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he lost two of the most beloved people to him in his life. Abu Talib helped his deen. Abu Talib was his father's brother. Abu Talib was an individual who really loved his nephew. The love of the Arabs. The love of the Arabs. They will look at the paternal uncle, their father's brother, as if they were the second and third and fourth father. The same way that the Arabs, they will look at their mother's sisters as if the mother's sister was his mother. Al-Khalatu. The mother's sister is like the mother, he said. And the father's brother is like the father. And then there is his wife, Khadija. Khadija helped him at the pinnacle time. Khadija gave him all of his children who died before him, other than Ibrahim and other than Fatima. She gave him Fatima, Ruqayya, Kulthum, Zainab, all Muslimat, Mu'minat, Ghafilat. and she gave him his sons. And the son to the Arabs know what I'm talking about. The son to the Arab, she gave him 3. Qasim, Abdullah, and Tahir. He lost that lady in the same year. So you gotta imagine. So what happened? What happened? He took the signs of what was going on, and Allah Ta'ala gave him tasliyah. And this is what we have to do with that Quran. Allah Ta'ala mentioned those ayat in the Quran. All of those ayat. The surah that was revealed was Surah Yusuf after that happened. It's the only surah of the Quran where the story of a Nabi, a Rasul, was sent down from beginning to the end. You'll have stories of Musa here, there, here, Ibrahim here, there. Yusuf was mentioned all of his story in one ayah, in one surah. Tasliyatan lahu, as a comfort to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When the son said to the father of Yaqub, hey, we were playing around, we were joking around, and the wolf came and took your son. Maybe he's dead. That's what the brothers were saying. Your son is gone. But the father didn't believe him, but he didn't know. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, وَتَوَلَّى عَنْهُمْ وَقَالَ يَا أَسَفَ لِيُوسُفَ وَابْيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ فَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. Only the man who has a son and he lost his son can appreciate this ayah, and Allah knows best. When his sons were telling him the story, this is after Rasulullah lost beloved people to him. Yaqub, when the sons told him the story, he turned away from them. And he said to them, oh, how I miss my boy, I miss my son Yusuf. And his eyes became white, he became blind, couldn't see anymore. Because of sorrow and sadness, he was overtaken. فهو كظيم كان يكذب. He was يكذب. He used to try to suppress his sorrow. He didn't go around saying, my son died, my boy died, I lost this. No, he was kadhim. He tried to hold it in and not complain. As a result of that, he couldn't see anymore. So that surah was revealed to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, telling him, compare your situation to Yusuf. People have said in here who I know, catastrophes have hit us. Catastrophes have hit us. You are not required to reinvent the wheel. Or the wheel, W-H-E-E-L. Just look at those stories of the Quran. So I want to share with this community here today, inshallah, a few very critical issues that I want you to remember, and I bring it to your attention, especially you young brothers, but everybody else. The first thing I want to tell you is death, the Malak al-Maut, he doesn't discriminate. He doesn't care what your color is. He doesn't care if you're an Arab or non-Arab. He doesn't care. That's not a question with him. You can be young, you can be a baby, you can be in your mother's womb, you can be an old man, you can be crippled, you can be whatever. You can have a beard, you may not have a beard, pray, not pray. You can be from the most religious people. Death does not discriminate and ask any questions. Allah Ta'ala told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, innaka mayyit wa innahum mayyitun thumma innakum yawm al-qiyamah inda rabbikum takhtasimun. Ya Muhammad, you're the khatam of the anbiya. You're the most beloved to Allah. You're the first in the Jannah. You have more people in Jannah than anybody else. You have the special dua. You have the special all of on and on and on. Ya Muhammad, you're gonna die. And all of them are going to die as well. And then Yawm al-Qiyamah, you're going to stand before Allah, and then you're going to start arguing. You're going to start arguing. He owes me money. He married me and didn't give me my dowry. I worked for him. He didn't pay me my money. He lied on me. He did this. He hit me. He stole from me. I didn't even know about it. Yawm al-Qiyamah, you're going to die. It is not going to discriminate against anybody. Allah told us in the Quran, أَيْنَمَا تَكُونُوا يُدْرِكْكُمُ الْمَوْتِ وَلَوْ كُنْتُمْ فِي بُرُوجٍ مُشَيَّدَةٍ. Wherever you find yourself, death is going to come to you. It's going to find you wherever you find. You can be in an airplane like those people a few months ago in that country over there by Uzbekistan over there, Tajikistan, I don't know. And the man was on there saying, Allahu Akbar, in the sky. And that plane went down and those people died. Like the helicopter that ran into the plane. Like our brothers and sisters from Palestine and Gaza. Like those two young brothers. Death does not discriminate. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ وَإِنَّمَا تُوَفَّوْنَ أَجُورَكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Every single individual is going to taste death, and then Yawm al-Qiyamah, you're going to be rewarded for what you do. So what's the reward? What's the reward? When I was at that maqbara, the first and the second one, there were a lot of things that happened there that were from the munkarat. They were from the things that are not from our religion. No doubt about it. There is no doubt about it. And this is why people like the scholars, Imam Ahmed and those Muslims, those ulama of the Sunnah, they used to say, as he said, قُلُوا لِأَهْلِ بِدْعَةِ لِأَهْلِ الْبِدْعَةِ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمْ يَوْمُ الْجَنَائِزِ. Tell the people of this ummah, but they're the people of innovation. Tell them between us and you is the day of the janazah. One meaning of that is during that time the Muslims were really practicing, especially those who were practicing Islam correctly. That's one meaning. That the people were practicing, the righteous people are going to be many. The people on the Sunnah are going to be many. It could be in a meaning. But another meaning of that, and it's the one that I want to use here now today, is that when the people of the Sunnah, when they're at a janazah, you see Islam being practiced. From the time the person is dead, we wash him as quick as possible and we get him in that dirt. And at the maqbara and over the qabr, we do what is the religion. But my issue here is, and I'm not criticizing, I'm making a point. Someone is at the maqbara and all he's doing is saying, look at this, is messed up. Why they doing this? Why those women over there? Why are they wailing? Why? Yo, Akhi, that's all you can see here today? That's all you can see here today? That's the only sign that you see here today? Look at that young boy over there. His hair is like that. But he's at the maqbara, yeah? He's at the maqbara. And his friend who's in that grave, rahmatullah alayhi, he came to pay his respects and to pay homage. Perhaps this is the hadith and the situation that'll get that boy right. That'll get that boy right. Anyway. The second janazah, I was praying next to the father Abu Mu'ad. I made it my business. I went, I hugged that man, and he looked at me as if he knew me. I don't think he knew me. And he was trying to remain cool and calm, crying and trying. And he kept saying, Allah, Allah, until the imam started giving a kalima, and he started mentioning the death of the child. And then he couldn't help it anymore. He couldn't help it. And then you just hear him say, Allah! You can just hear it, you can see it. In our religion, we don't scream and make niyaha at the maqbara. We don't do that over the dead. The boy's friends were crying. But can't you understand? Can't you understand? I don't condone, I don't endorse anything that's against al-Islam. But can't you understand? I'm going to ask you one more time, Ya Akhi Abdullah. I'm going to ask you one more time. Can you imagine a woman losing her only child at the age of 19 in the month of Ramadan? The month of Ramadan in which you're thinking, we're going to go back to Morocco on the day of the Eid and do it over there. I'm going to send money to my parents so that they can have the Eid. The month of Ramadan, we're going to clean our house 3-4 days before the Eid. The month of Ramadan, on the day of the Eid, I'm going to wear this and wear that. But the boy goes out after 2 days of fasting and he's not coming back. Only the mother understands that, man. So if you see the mother crying, and you do see the mother, where's the rahmah? The lady was at the grave and the Prophet came and said to her, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, be patient and you'll get your reward. She said, get out of here and get away from me. You don't know what I'm dealing with. He just left her. because this is a situation that's not easy for that woman. So Ummatul Islam, especially you younger brothers who want to be on the Sunnah, Salafiyah, take it easy with our community. Whenever the Muslims come together on the day of the Eid, on the day of Jummah, on the day of the Janazah, you're going to see a lot of things are not right. A lot of things. I no longer keep saying like this the way I do because I would get triggered telling you to come up for your own good. The people just don't want to do it. I say, okay, it's off of me. I told them enough. I'll do it here and there. But we have to take it easy with our ummah because you see the reality of this ummah when the time comes when we get together. And that's why everybody here has a religious responsibility to do the best that you can to cultivate your wife and your children so that your family comes knowing what they're doing, that family comes knowing what they're doing, and all of our families come know what we're doing, and we're practicing Islam in a better way, like those companions, Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, Ummatul Islam. I was standing over the grave of the second brother. The first one, there's too many people, I stood back. The second one, I was standing right there. I was looking right there. They were throwing the dirt in. They gave me the thing that said talk. While I was there, I told some of the non-Muslim boys, and there was quite a few non-Muslims at the first janazah and the second. When they look at us, are our actions giving dawah to al-Islam? Our actions as a community, is our actions the way we are, is it giving dawah to al-Islam? If you go into a church or a synagogue and you look at them, their mere existence is giving dawah to what they're on. You go into a church, and I've been in white people's churches, and I've been in black folks' churches. Black people, my people, they have rhythm, and you go in there, and it's a different vibe. You go into white people's church and they're just very solemn. You get scared. I don't want to be in that place for sure. But it's a vibe, it's a message, a risala. When people come into our masjid, what's the vibe? What do they learn when they see us? What do they learn? Do they see this youngster serving the elders, respecting the elders? Do they see the women with the uniform of al-Islam that's correct? Or this one doesn't have hijab on, that one has hijab. Or this one hijab, she still got tight jeans on. And I'm not blasting her, but I have to say what I have to say. That's why Abu Usama, I had to take my daughter, Maimuna, I had to take my daughter, this one and that one, put that right hijab on her, and teach them how to behave. And when I come to the table, and you come to the table, you come to the table, we're going to have some mistakes, but at least it won't be mistakes where non-Muslims look at us and say, they're all terrorists. Because we're not giving them a good picture of what our religion really is. As I was sitting there or standing there, I thought about something, and that is, after the dirt is thrown on that individual, the people get up and they walk away. We make dua individually on the dead. Individually. We don't read the Quran, not Yasin, not Ar-Rahman, not Surah Al-Baqarah. We don't do any of that. You make dua individually. And then everybody goes. As you walk away, the dead people can hear your footsteps, everybody's footsteps. And then when the footsteps get away, then the angels come and begin to question him. The mothers and the women, they stay there. The mother of the boy stay there. But you know what? I knew and I know his mother's not going to stay there all day long until the next day. At some point, that mother has to go. And that's why the Prophet told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the dead people, you'll be followed by three things will go with you. Your money, your family, and your deeds. Your money and your family are going to leave you. The brother's clothes, their car, their sneakers, what they're going to get given away, distributed, they're going to get saved, they can't use it. The only thing that stays with them are the actions. But anyway, what I thought about was, mother's not going to stay there. Nobody's going to stay in the graveyard for 2, 3, 4, 5. Nobody. Because it's not like that. You can't. The person in the grave will be approached by someone who has a nice robe that's very nice, a nice smell emanating from him, and a very nice face. The dead person, after getting into a car accident, smashed up, after all of that, smashed up, shot, fell off a building, whatever. After all of that, that person will come looking nice, and the dead person will say, you look like someone who has good news, and who will be happy. You look like someone who has good news. That person will tell him, Abshir, هذا اليوم يومك الذي كنت توعد. Be happy, glad tidings. This is your day, the day you were promised. I'm your good deeds. That's who I am. I'm going to be with you until Yom Al-Qiyamah. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm with you. What good deeds? Fasting in the month of Ramadan, making the Salah of Taraweeh, making 5 prayers a day, having birrul walidain and respecting your parents, making istighfar and tawbah. You young brothers, your good deeds at the top of the list, way up there with the Tawheed of Allah, is being respectful to your parents. Just simply being respected to the one who was the vessel that gave you life, by Allah. But even more important than that, more important, your good deeds, worshiping the one who gave you life. The one who gave you life, and not making shirk with him, and not taking and worshiping him in a way that's innovative. He didn't legislate that stuff. Those are your good deeds. So they'll tell him, sleep the way a newly married man sleeps. This is his wife, Laylatul Dukhul, the wife. It's a special sleep. And then the bad guy in the grave will be approached by someone who'll have an ugly thobe, ugly clothes. He'll have a really bad smell, and he'll look really, really terrified. Terrifying. Person be petrified. He said, who are you? You look like someone who has bad news. He say, yes. Bad tidings to you. I'm your bad deeds. I'm the Ramadan you didn't fast for so many years. I'm the prayer that you didn't make in the month of Ramadan. I'm the one who I embody, and I'm a symbol of your disrespect to your parents. You stole the man's money. You're a liar. You're stealing the people's money. You know that car, you were lying about that car. You sold him a car that had problems, and you hid that. Whatever the case may be. So Ummah al-Islam, and the death of those brothers, it is a sign. It's a sign for who? It's a sign for anybody who got common sense. It's a sign for all of us. We gotta get right. Listen, Allah mentioned in the Quran, لِلَّهِ يَسْجُدُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ طَوْعًا وَكَرْهًا. To Allah, everything in the heavens and the earth makes sajda, whether they want to or they don't want to, even the non-Muslims. They have to do what Allah told them to do. They have to. You know, it's a lot of rewards when you go to the grave, especially if you're fasting, you visit the sick, and you pay for a person who is poor. It's a lot of rewards. So we have a WhatsApp group. They always send in janazah, janazah, janazah. You go sometimes, you don't go sometimes. This one we had to go. It was as if Allah forced us to go. We had to be at the janazah of those 2 boys. And when we got to that janazah that Allah made us go to, you got to that janazah and you started looking around at those dead people. And you started to look and see to yourself, hey, month of Ramadan, we got more religion, more taqwa, more awareness. This is going to be my final abode by the Lord of the Kaaba. So Ummah al-Islam, I know I went over the time by 3 minutes. Feel lies with Allah as it relates to yourselves, as it relates to one another. You young people, stop lollygagging and get more traction out of your youth and you older people. You are only a foot or 2 or 3 before your cover, and Allah knows best. You only got 3 more steps and you're falling in, and Allah knows best. And everybody in between that, everybody. No one knows when you're going to die because it doesn't discriminate. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله تعالى الذي يحيي ويميت الثبات. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا وطيبا مباركا فيه وصلوات الله وسلامه على نبينا الأمين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. يوم تأتي كل نفس تجادل عن نفسها. Allah said the day is going to come when everybody will come by themselves and they're going to argue by themselves. They're not going to have a lawyer. They're not going to have a solicitor. They're not going to have their mother and their father. As a matter of fact, the mother and the father is going to say, take him and give me a break. And the child is going to say, take my mother and my father and give me a break. يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ. They're going to run away from everyone, his mother, his father, his wife, everybody. And Allah, they're going to be, take him. It was because of him that I did this and that. They'll even blame me. The people will blame me in this masjid. And they'll say, make him responsible, Allah. He didn't tell us. So when I come and I tell you what I tell you first and foremost for myself. So anyway, Yawm al-Qiyam, everybody here is going to just be the defender of yourself. Abul Harith, going to be a defender of yourself. Everybody here. So prepare yourself for the day when we stand before Allah, barefooted, naked, and uncircumcised, the way we were first created. And nobody is going to be looking at anybody's aura. Nobody is going to be looking at, oh, he's naked, she's naked. Nobody. He's just going to be worrying about his situation. Oh man, I dropped the ball as it relates to my kids. I dropped the ball as it relates to the person I owed him money, and I died before I gave him my money, before I gave him his money. So fear Allah. يُثَبِّتُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِالْقَوْلِ الثَّابِتِ. Allah Ta'ala is going to establish those people with the proper word in the dunya and the akhirah. What's the qawlu thabit? The ability when the person is put in the grave, he's able to say, my Lord is Allah and my deen is al-Islam. So get yourselves together collectively. And while we get ourselves together, inshallah, we're going to be a family. Last thing I want to mention in less than 60 seconds is this is the blessed month of Ramadan. And for some strange reason, our sadaqat is going down in the month of Ramadan here in this masjid. At the beginning of the khutbah, I told you there are people who are not, they're visiting here. They've never been here. I'm not talking to them necessarily. I'm talking to you people who this is your masjid and every masjid is yours. Our sadaqat is going down. In the month of Ramadan, that's the month in which sadaqah becomes more. Sadaqah becomes more because you want to help the community. You want to help the Muslims. So I'm asking you all, donate generously during these days of Ramadan. Our takalif is more. The water, this, that, AC, all of that. I'm not here begging you. This is our religion. Get a Ramadan in which you're spending more, because that's what the Prophet used to do, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was generous, and in the month of Ramadan, he became more generous. May Allah Ta'ala have mercy upon all of us. And may He subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon our two brothers. And may He subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy and help that brother who did not die. Because I saw that young boy who was at both of the janazas and he was having a tough time. And the fact that he didn't die is an ayat. He was there, but he lived. Allah gives life to who He wants to give life to, and He causes to die whoever He wants to cause to die. They died during COVID, we didn't die. They died, we didn't die. So only Allah can help or harm. So turn to Allah with the correct aqeedah with tawheed. May Allah Ta'ala forgive all of us for our mistakes and our indecisions and indiscretions. And may He Ta'ala cause us to be firmly planted on al-Islam.